Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 35 of our student athlete interview series. My name is Ari and I'm one of the interns at Sports Finder this summer. The student athlete interview series shows the life of college athletes at all levels in sports. Our guest today, Mel Buxton, is a senior guard for the Ithaca College women's basketball team. All right, Mel should be joining right now. Hey Mel, what's going on?
Hi, Ari. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
So, do you want to start off by just telling everyone like what made you start playing basketball and when you started?
Yeah, sure. So I just started playing basketball when I was younger, along with like a few other sports. And then just over the years, I had more of like a draw to basketball, and I was a little bit naturally better at basketball. So I ended up sticking with it.
Did you have any role models or favorite players growing up?
Yeah, so I can't say that I have like one specific role model. It's more of I guess like qualities that I look up to in certain people. So it's mostly just like every time I'm in the gym, looking at other athletes, how they carry themselves, their work ethic and things like that I notice, not one specific person, I'd say.
So when did you know that playing in college was kind of an option for you?
I'd say probably like my freshman year of high school. Really, that's when like AAU, like travel basketball, started to like pick up. So I'd say after that is when you start getting like exposure and different things like that. So I'd say after my freshman year of high school is when I really started taking it seriously for playing in college.
Do you want to take us through a little bit your recruiting process with Ithaca? Was it mostly like AAU? Was it like were you going to camps? Just take us through that whole process.
Yeah, so actually, specifically with Ithaca, was mainly like AAU. They would come to the tournaments that we would be at and then like speak with them after the games. So that was for Ithaca, but like attending camps was like a standard to do in order to get recruited. But I found Ithaca pretty late in the process, so I actually hadn't attended their camps, but I came for visits and different things like that, to the campus and overnights. So,
So what ultimately made you decide to go to Ithaca?
yeah, so I think Ithaca just had like an overall like different feeling than any of the other schools that I had visited. And you could just tell in speaking with like the coaches or the players or the staff or the teachers, professors, anyone, they were just like super passionate about the school and sharing their knowledge and making sure that their legacy continues after their time there. So that's something that I found like super admirable, and I didn't see that at every school that I was visiting. And just thinking about the alumni at Ithaca, the alumni network that they have, and what they do to help the current students was just something I really wanted to be a part of.
So what would you say was your biggest change going from high school to college?
I'd say in in college it's a lot different because in high school some people are just playing for fun, and in college everyone is like super into it, super dedicated. So just the level of play elevates a lot once you make that jump from high school to collegiate. So I'd say that was the biggest difference, just like being surrounded by people who were as talented as you, or most of the time much more talented than you. So being surrounded by that level of player was definitely a huge difference coming from high school.
So one of the big things, like when you go to college, obviously, is learning how to manage your time. So what was that balance like, kind of, with your academics and sports? Because it's pretty strenuous during the season with practice pretty much every day and games on the weekends.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So it's like, of course, like a bit of an adjustment in the beginning, but if you think about it, most collegiate athletes have been playing that sport their whole lives. So you've kind of already mastered um, like your system and your schedule and your time management of how to balance both and how to balance the things in your life that are like of value to you. So I think just like getting, once you have your new schedule and the details of that, is just figuring it out like you always do and adjusting to different things. So it wasn't too bad, but it definitely takes some figuring out in the beginning. But once you get in a schedule and in the swing of things, it works.
So obviously last year we got sent home early, like due to the pandemic, and I'm sure like your season was affected by that. So what was that like, kind of navigating your way through that and kind of staying like keeping your skills sharp and all that?
Yeah, it was definitely tough, as most people would say, just because we were practicing and lifting and doing all the things just without games, which are naturally the most fun part. And so we were kind of just like working super hard in the gym, but not sure when we would actually be able to display that. So it was kind of tough to keep going and keep each other motivated. But that's why you have a team to support you, and great coaches and stuff like that, to make sure everyone's staying motivated in the gym and certain things like that. So it was definitely tough, but I also think it highlighted certain areas that we wouldn't have seen if we didn't go through that we need to improve on. So there's always some good that comes out of it, but yes, it was definitely tough.
So you have your senior season coming up this year, and usually that carries like seniors have a lot of responsibility with the team. Um, so do you have any like ways that you think you can have a leadership role on your team this year?
Yeah, for sure. Seniors are definitely looked up to for leadership roles. So, and we don't have captains on our team, so the seniors have an additional role on top of that because there are no captains. So I think my view on it is just to be seen as a resource for the younger players on the team, as someone who they could see that will support them, push them, motivate them, and different things like that. I don't think that you can demand respect from anyone. So I think just making myself as good as I can and as respectable as I can, the rest will follow.
Oh, so you mentioned to me that your favorite like sports memory was making it to the Elite Eight your freshman year.
Yeah.
You want to take us through kind of what that experience was like and how that kind of helped you grow as a player?
Yeah, definitely. So that was such an incredible, experience. We had a really great group of girls, great coaching staff, and everything was kind of falling into place for us. So it was kind of incredible just to do that, like my freshman year, not really knowing everything and not even knowing that that's like possible. Like you always hear about like the tournament, everyone talks about it, but actually being there and experiencing it, and being one of 8 other teams in the country to still be playing during that time was just really incredible. And it was really incredible to see the talent, what you're surrounded with once you reach it to that level of play, was also really incredible. So I think it was beneficial for me and like formative for me to see that my freshman year, to know that that's out there, that it's possible, it's feasible for us, for our team, for our program, for the girls that are still here, for my grade. We've seen it, we know we can accomplish it. So I think that was how it was formative for me, just to get that exposure at as a first year.
So do you plan on staying involved with basketball post graduation, or are you looking to go more into like business world?
Yeah, so I think after my senior year of college, I'll probably retire. I might be in like some intramural leagues or something like that to stay active and to play for fun. But yeah, I'll be working in finance. I don't think I'll be playing basketball anymore. But
Um, so what would you say was your greatest accomplishment as an athlete?
yeah, so Um, I guess to pin, I don't know if I would necessarily want to like pinpoint one exact accomplishment. I just think um, an accumulation of like my accomplishments are shown, when I return to my hometown to say, certain camps that are hosted with like younger players, and you can just feel and acknowledge that, they're looking up to you as, a role model. So I think that shows me like what I have accomplished in order to get that role like in their lives. So I think that to me is the greatest accomplishment, just being able to, inspire other people and younger like kids to, keep going and keep playing, keep training and things like that. So that to me is like the biggest, message and accomplishment that I could ever ask for.
All right, so my last question would be, do you have any advice for student athletes playing at the college level?
Yeah, I would just say, make sure you really love the sport, you dedicate a lot of time to it, you sacrifice a lot of things for it, and I think it's really great because it doesn't it teaches you much more than just the sport you're playing. There's a lot of other skills that come into play just in being part of a collegiate team that you might not even recognize that you're kind of encompassing from your time there. And also just your teammates, your coaches, the connections you form, the relationships you form is really great. So it's definitely a really special environment. It's a really hard environment. It's not easy, but it's all worth it. So
All right, Mel, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for coming on, and best of luck in your senior season.
awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Ari. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Bye.